welcome to the Sean Show. It's episode 28. Had a game this morning. We had Kansas City versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Whoa, Freudian slip there. So Kansas City versus the Oakland Raiders did not end great. Unfortunately, there was a botch snap. Two games ending with kind of questionable endings this week. Detroit versus Chicago as well kind of ended with a bit of a shitter. But that's going to happen. I didn't get to watch this morning's game. I was asleep. This is the Sean Show. It's the greatest show. Episode 28. Let's get into it. We're going to have a short one today. It's just going to be super quick. We're not going to be doing as in-depth picks as we normally do. So let's go straight up to the agenda. So today we've got the show plug and updates. Then we've got the picks and we've got the bets. So this is the Sean Show Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. If you're in the US, bring those days forward by one. So Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and Friday. And we talk about NFL football because NFL football right now is a premium. We don't get it for the majority of the year. So while it's on, we better fucking pay attention. So that's what we're talking about. And today, as you can see on the agenda, we're talking about the picks and the bets for Week 13 Sunday football. Show updates. So I'm going to be bringing the show to more platforms. I'm going to be working a little more on the show. The time for the show and the low effort is coming to an end. So I'm going to be spending a little more time on the show, trying to make it a little more digestible in terms of consuming content and just make it better viewing all around, better information, less total fluff. So let's get into it. Boom, boom. Okay, so let's go straight into these picks. So this week, let me get all my pages up really quickly. So first up, we've got the Chargers versus the Falcons. This is indoors. It's in a dome. 50 degrees clear. I'm going to go with the Chargers. Kind of a tough loss for them last week. I think they steamroll in there. I'm not really sure what the Falcons are doing at the moment. So we're just going to kind of go with the Chargers. All right, next game. Let's see how it all is. Taking more points. Average points per game. Yeah, I think this is going to be a Chargers game. 7-4 versus 6-5. These guys are in an extremely close division. So everybody is trying to get to the playoffs at this point. Chargers are in the seed right now as well. So that's nice to see. Next up, we've got Steelers versus Bengals. What do we got here? What's the weather going to be like in Steelers versus Bengals? It's going to be a clear day. It's going to be a beautiful day. So it's going to be a little chilly, nothing too crazy. I am going with the Bengals here at home. I just think they've got more firepower. I think this Bengals offense has only versed the Steelers once when they have had both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase healthy. It just bodes well for the Bengals for those boys to be healthy. I think they find a way to win it late in the game. Probably might even take the over in this one, but I'm just going straight up with the Bengals here. Next game, we have Texans versus Jaguars. We've got Texans. I am also going with the Texans here. I don't think the weather really matters that much in this one. To be decided. Patchy frost. Seems like it's going to be fairly warmish. I don't really know here. I'm going to go with the Texans. They've got something to prove. Jacksonville Jags, I think Trevor Lawrence, they might be talking about bringing him back this week. It's probably best if he just rests and gets healthy. This season's essentially over. After this game, if they lose, they'll be mathematically eliminated, I believe. So there's no point. No point. Just let him rest. Let him get healthy. Don't let him aggravate something. We're going with the Texans. Next, we've got Cardinals versus Minnesota. This one, ooh, I am going to go with the Minnesota. I have read that their zone defense is not good for Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think it performs really well against that defense. This one is in Minnesota, which is in a dome, so the weather shouldn't affect the game. Even though Cardinals are rolling, I still think that Minnesota does take this one. While the Cardinals are in an extremely tight division and they want to kind of win out, The Vikings are also in a very, very tight division, and this one is important for both teams. I'm going with the Vikings here. Next up, we've got Colts versus the Patriots. What do we got? It looks like the weather's going to be fairly clear. Not a whole lot of winds for the kickers. 36 degrees Fahrenheit. I really want to take the Colts here, but I kind of want to ride the Pats as well. I'm going to go with the Pats. There is such a thing as a Lions hangover. The Colts did lose to the Lions last week. I believe only 2 teams this season have won their games following a Lions loss. I think it's the Seahawks and the Packers. So I'm not going to put the Chiefs in. I'm not going to put the Colts in that minority group, and we're going with the Patriots here. That could be an upset bet. Keep an eye out on it. Next up, we've got Seattle versus the Jets. This game is much more important to Seattle than it is to the Jets. It's going to be partly cloudy, 37 degrees Fahrenheit, a 10-mile-an-hour wind, so nothing too insane, but the winds are fairly strong. That could affect the kicking game since it's not in a dome. Don't know how high the walls are in MetLife or whatever it is, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Seahawks. The game's just more important to them. I would probably take Garrett Wilson for a touchdown. Not in my Millie bet, though. Alright, next up, we've got the Tennessee Titans versus the Commanders now. Commanders, this is a must-win for the Commanders. Slight chance of snow showers, apparently. It's going to be a running-style game in which you'd probably want to go with the Titans. I know this game is more important to Washington Commanders, but let's say it snows. I think the Titans take it on the ground. Yeah, let's do that. Let's drop a cheeky. Play an upset. Playing the upset. And this is a good defense as well. Alright. Next up, we have Tampa Bay versus the Panthers. I'm straight up going... Tampa Bay versus the Panthers. That's right. I got that correct. Next, we have 52 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to be a clear day in New Orleans. I think the Bucks... They're in that... They need to win out to go to the playoffs. This is just a pebble in their road. Carolina, I do believe I've got maybe Chuba Hubbard to grab a touchdown. We'll have a look at the Millie bet there. But I think it's the Bucks. I do believe it's the Bucks. I hope it's the Bucks. Alright, next game. We have Los Angeles Rams versus the New Orleans Saints. Fairly important game for both teams. More important for the Los Angeles Rams because they are in that extremely tight division with the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Cardinals. Only one game difference between all of them. So I want to say the Rams, but I also want to ride the Rizzler. I also truly do want to ride the Rizzler. It is in New Orleans. It is in a dome. Weather doesn't matter. I'm going with New Orleans here. Fuck it. Next up. Eagles versus the Ravens. One thing to say as well. I think the Rizzler is on a fucking campaign to maybe become the head coach of this team. So he's gonna do shit right. If shit's not, dude is a smart special teams coach. If things aren't working, he will change shit up, and that's what he's done. He's probably gonna ride Taysom Hill this week, just like he did last week. Okay, next up we have the Eagles versus the Ravens. This is the game of the century. This could very much likely be a Super Bowl preview game. There is a slight chance of snow showers in Baltimore. For that reason, I am going to go with the Ravens. At home, I think Philadelphia is a little more dynamic. I think their defense is tighter. I'm going with the Eagles. I've changed my mind. This is a massive game for both teams. This is absolutely huge for both teams. Who wants it more, though? Eagles are trying to get that first seed. They're hoping that the Lions can lose some games. And the Ravens, they're also up there battling. They're definitely going to go to the playoffs, but you know, you don't want to lose at home. You still want that to happen. I'm still going with the Eagles here. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts touchdowns in this game. Especially if it's going to snow, there's going to be a lot of running. Both coaches are going to want to show off that running game. I mean, you've got the King Henry versus the Saquon Barkley. Like, this game's going to be fucking amazing to watch. I'm going with the Eagles. Next, we have Buffalo versus 49ers. I think Brock Purdy is back this week. There is a slightly snow showers chance. This one is a nighttime game as well. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, riding high 9-2. San Francisco still hasn't really regained their footing. Buffalo is a cold weather team. I think they take it. Josh Allen rushes a touchdown. Let's go. Moving on up. And that's actually all the games. We've got Browns versus Broncos on the Monday Night Football. I'll probably go with the Broncos there, but who knows what's going to happen with Jameis Winston, man. This dude's electric. So those are our picks. Take them or leave them. I'll generally put these up in a multi for myself, a parlay, sorry, and just put like $5 on it or something. So we've got Chargers going into Falcons and win. Bengals defending home turf against the powerful Steelers. We've got Texans going into Jacksonville and absolutely whooping them. Then we've got Cardinals losing in Minnesota to the Vikings. We've got the Patriots taking advantage of that Detroit Lions hangover that the Colts are in. We've got the Seattle Seahawks beating the Jets because the game is more important to them. We have the Titans upsetting the Commanders due to weather. I think this is going to be a ground game. Then we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into Carolina and winning that game, as they need to win out for the rest of the year to get into the playoffs. Then we've got the Saints defending home turf with possible HC Rizzler at the helm. Rams need this win. Rams need it. But I think the Saints figure it out. Next up, we've got the Eagles. Not favored. They're apparently the dogs to go into Baltimore and win the game. Like I said, I think their offense is more dynamic. I think their defense is better. I just think they come away with the win here. It's either going to be a really low scoring game or it's going to be a really high scoring game. A lot of ground yardage as well. Chance of snow. Keep that in mind. Next, the final game, we have the Bills defending home turf against the 49ers in the very likely hood of there being a snow shower. But yeah, those are our picks. Take them, leave them, add them to a multi, edit them yourself. I don't give a shit. Let's move over to our bets. I've lost everything. I've lost it all. Here it is. Okay, so we'll just quickly whip up the agenda. As you see, we've done our picks. Now we're going to go through and do our bets. What? Alright, so we got our bets. So our weekly parlay, as you guys know if you've watched the previous episodes, I'm going to be changing this weekly parlay. It's usually a 9-leg. I'm dropping it down to 9. We're going to get some success here, and then we're going to roll on with the 5-leg parlays. Should be good to throw 25 on there. Be good. I've also added a couple of little extra legs to this one if you are interested. Things that I like. So first up, with the weekly parlay, I have Seattle moneyline against the New York Jets. I think the game is like plus 0.5 and minus 0.5, so it's basically a pick'em. The books don't know. I've got Seattle. Tampa Bay, I have them money line in Carolina as well. They've got to win that game. Next, I've got the LA Rams. I actually bet on the Rams here rather than the New Orleans Saints. Like I said, the game is probably more important to them. So I've got the Rams at minus 2.5. They're my two different headspaces there. Two sides of the coin, if you will. Next, we've got Arizona and Minnesota. I haven't picked a winner there. I've basically just gone for the total, so 44 points. It needs to hit 45 points for us to clear that leg. And then we've got Buffalo as the 5.5 point favorites over San Francisco. I don't know how San Francisco is going to perform in the cold weather. Christian McCaffrey has not shown us that he's Christian McCaffrey just yet. Yeah, and it's likely going to be a snowy one. I've got Buffalo here. A couple of little extra ones that I do like. I do like Cincinnati money line against Pittsburgh. Like I said, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are both in for this game. I think they have only played one game where they've both been in the game against Pittsburgh. So this is going to be a lovely, lovely showing out from the Cincinnati offense. Probably late in the game, I would say. You got to wait for that defense to get tired. You gotta have to figure out how to adjust to TJ Watt and his man. I can't remember his name. Might be Henderson. I don't know, but they got a couple of fucking D-line monsters there. Next, I've got Philadelphia. As you know, I probably have them favored to win the game, but you know, taking plus 2.5 dogs, I think that's probably pretty fair. This game could go to 2 points, and again, if Philadelphia wins, then we straight up win the leg. Easy peasy. So there we go. Seattle money line, Tampa Bay money line, Rams favored 2.5 points. Arizona, Minnesota total match points of over 45 or more. And then we have Buffalo as a 5.5 point favorite against San Francisco on a snowy day. Now we've got our Millie. Let me just move this down. That's not nice. That's much better. So for our Millie bet, we're trying to become a millionaire here, and we want somebody else to do all the work. And we're just basically going to throw like a $10 bet on this one. Odds should be 100,000 to 1, around there. And then everybody will get these TDs, and we'll become a millionaire, and then the show will be much better. I'm going to start giving away shit. That'd be sick. Alright, so starting out, we've got Tampa Bay, Cade Otton, 1 touchdown. We've got Chuba Hubbard in the same game to also get a touchdown. I've got Joe Mixon for the Texans to pick up 2 touchdowns. Now, this is against the Jags, I do believe, and I was listening to a show today. CJ Stroud has been pressured the second most times out of quarterbacks, but the Jacksonville Jags have pressured quarterbacks like the 4th least amount. So this is a good chance for CJ Stroud to start slinging that ball to Nico Collins, slinging that ball to Tank Dell. But I do have Joe Mixon as 2 touchdowns at least. It just, like, if they're able to pass, able to run, whole thing happens. Joe Mixon's a fucking beast. These can be receiving touchdowns as well. Keep that in mind. Another thing to mention about Cade Otton, I do believe he's got a pretty good share of red zone targets. Let me just get that up very quickly. No. So the last 2 weeks he has not had a great share of the red zone targets, but previously he's out of total receivers, he has the most red zone targets right now. And Mike Evans was out for a bit. Mike Evans is back, but still, that's something to keep an eye on. He's been effective for him. Why go away from it? Gotta love a tight end in the end zone as well. Next up, so we've got Justin Herbert to rush a touchdown this week against the Falcons. J.K. Dobbins is out. I'd usually have him in as a touchdown. You could replace him with Gus Edwards, but you know, Harbaugh just believes that Justin Herbert is the toughest motherfucker on this planet, so he's going to run a touchdown in. Next, I've got Josh Allen to run 1 touchdown in against the San Francisco 49ers in the snow. I've got Ramondre Stevenson to pick up 2 of his own touchdowns this week against the Colts. Colts are known to have absolutely no run defense, so assuming Ramondre Stevenson gets in there twice, you know, he can also catch one. Remember that. I've got Taysom Hill for a touchdown. He had a big game recently. The New Orleans coaches did say that they're probably going to keep on going to him, so I would keep an eye out for Taysom Hill to get a tutty poo. Next, I got Cooper Kupp to pick up a touchdown in the game against New Orleans. If I was to look at his red zone share really quickly, for the season, Cooper Kupp is leading all receivers for red zone targets. Simple as that. DeMarcus Robinson is right behind him with 1 less, but when Cooper Kupp gets them, he gets them in droves. It's not just one a game. He gets a bunch. So next up, finally, we've got Baker Mayfield running for a touchdown. I do also have Cade Otton up there to receive a touchdown. They are versing Carolina. You could go with the run game. I don't think Carolina's run defense is very good, but in that case, Baker Mayfield can just run one in, right? And then at the end of this $1 million leg parlay, I do have Terry McLaurin to grab 1 touchdown. If you wanted, you could probably put Tony Pollard in there. Like I said, there is a slight chance of snow, so keep an eye on that. And that's it, guys. Extra things that I might like, extra kind of props, I guess, because this is a prop bet. I do like Garrett Wilson to get a touchdown. I do like DK Metcalf to get a touchdown. I do like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins like normal to get a touchdown. They just didn't beef up my milli bet that much this week. But that's going to be it. Real quick show today. Like I said, this shit's going to be a bit more concise, and we're going to look at doing some video content as well in the future. I am working through some program issues at the moment, trying to get myself over to a different set of software, which will allow me to bring the show to more platforms, which will allow me the motivation to make the show a bit more exciting. But anyway, guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy the football. I'll see you Monday night. Or Sunday. I'll see you on Monday or Sunday night. Hopefully we'll be on our new software. If you see me live, between now and then, I will be doing some testers just to try and figure out all the bits and bobs that I am actually showing live, and everything that I want to be showing is being shown and at the right volumes and everything on the multiple platforms. So keep an eye out for that. Have a great weekend. Fucking appreciate yourself. Appreciate everyone around you, and just have a great time and be a good cunt. Peace out.